Welcome. Welcome to the Homeless Persons Memorial. My name is Teresa Williams, and I coordinate our community's system-wide response to ensure homelessness is prevented whenever possible, or if it cannot be prevented, it is a rare, brief, and one-time experience. We are gathered here tonight on this first day of winter, the longest night of the year, to memorialize the 24 people that died on our streets, or in our shelters, or in their own homes from conditions directly related to or exacerbated by their experience of homelessness. In many cases, this service will be the only commemoration of their lives. The effectiveness of our coordinated response to address homelessness depends on the availability and affordability of housing. Homelessness demands the attention of everyone in this community. These are people with names. 8 of these people were veterans and fought for our freedom. We need to call them by their name, and we need to remember them. And now it is my pleasure to start our proceedings by introducing Kevin Kickingwoman. Kevin is a member of the Blackfeet tribe, hailing from the Star School on the western side of the Blackfeet Reservation. Kevin is a well-known educator and is passionate about passing on Native ways, ceremony, and culture, especially song. He is a veteran of the U.S. Navy and a husband and father of 6 children. Through his songs and community work, Kevin seeks to turn personal trauma and struggle into something powerful and meaningful. Kevin has opened our Homeless Persons Memorial with a song since we started this event 4 years ago, and he has graciously agreed to honor us with a song to begin our memorial tonight.
Thanks, Teresa. I'm going to sing a song, and after that I'll say a prayer. And again, my heart goes out to the 24 people we've lost, and I've heard that 8 were veterans. And being a vet, it's pretty tough because, you know, we should be doing everything we can to help our veterans out here, and all the people, in fact. You know, we shouldn't come back and be in. I always say that when we come back, I wish clergy and everybody got together and helped clean these people off in our Indian ways. We always clean them by giving them ceremony when they come back. So whatever happened overseas or whatever in wartime or whatever's going through their mind, that they can clean and purify themselves in their mind. And so I'm going to sing a song, and it's a prayer song. And you know, just my thing is when I sing these prayer songs, one of the things these songs we do is we're calling on the ancestors to come bless us. We're calling on all those people, those not-to-eat-the-peaks that left this world, and to come bless these people. Bless you guys right here, your mind, your thought. And also, we got to let go. I know that's a hard thing to do. I've had a lot of loss in my life, but we have to let go because they'll stay here with you, we believe, and they need to go home and make that journey. We call it crossing over. And so, my heart goes out to the people out there that are hurting. But again, we believe that there's always a better life on that other side. So we got to let them go. And I always did that with my father. I was a 14-year-old kid and I lost my dad, and my mom was 32. And I always remember that I was really hurting one time. I was sitting upside this hill crying, and I was looking over at my dad's grave up by Star Square where I lived. And a horseback rider come over and he got off his horse, and he said, I was trying to wipe my tears, and I'm only 14 and couldn't understand death. And I remember he told me, he said, I know you're hurting, kid. I know you're hurting. He said, don't be selfish no more, let that guy go. And he said, because the best thing you can do for them is to live good. Do good by them. And so that when they're up there in heaven or whatever you believe, that they know you're doing good. They don't have to worry about you down there. And I thought about that. And ever since, no matter what, a lot of people don't realize I grew up 7 foster homes. I was abused in every one of those. Severely abused, hospitalized 2 years old because Drano was given to me to eat my esophagus at 3 years old. 2 years in hospital, reconstructed. I had to go through all these foster homes, and I've always remembered, always had to fight to what I had to do. And today I'm happy that I'm a dad, number one thing, and a father, I stepped up. So people out there struggling, you can do it, but you've got to step up. You've got to do what you need to do. And that's my message to you guys, you know, that life is good. Our journey's good. We're only here for a short time. And our journey is good. And I tell my kids, when it's said and done, all I want to do is when I leave this earth, they say, Dad was a good man. That's my only intent. My only intent on this earth is to do right by people. So the prayer song I'll sing, think about your loved ones. They're gone, but yet they're in a better place. And you've got to believe that. You've got to have faith.
Thank you, Kevin. And now I would like to introduce Mayor Engen and Commissioner Slotnick as they will read the joint proclamation of December 21st as Homeless Persons Memorial Day. We are thankful to welcome many of our elected officials here tonight, all of whom support our efforts to prevent unnecessary deaths among our neighbors experiencing homelessness.
Thanks a lot. This is a proclamation from Missoula County and the City of Missoula, Montana. Whereas the winter poses extreme hardship for unsheltered and inadequately housed low-income men, women, and children in Missoula, and
Whereas residents of Missoula will gather tonight on the longest night of the year, December 21st, 2019, to honor and remember homeless individuals who have died in our community and environs. And
whereas since 1990, December 21st has been designated National Homeless Persons Memorial Day by the National Coalition for the Homeless and the National Health Care for the Homeless Council, and is recognized by cities and states nationwide. And
whereas, in remembering those who have died without a home of their own, we keep urgent the cause of ending homelessness, the need for compassionate response, and the city and county's collective commitment to prevent such deaths in the future.
therefore, be it resolved that we, David Strohmeyer, Josh Slotnick, and Juanita Vero, Missoula County Commissioners, and John Engden, Mayor of the City of Missoula, do hereby recognize the 21st day of December 2019 as Homeless Persons Memorial Day.
Thank you, Mayor Engen and Commissioner Slotnick. Next, we would like to invite Barry Maxwell to share a poem he has written. Barry is a local author and creative writing instructor at the University of Montana who is formerly homeless.
It's humbling to be invited to be involved in this. Thank you very much. I've wondered a lot of times if it's going to take some sort of divine intervention to fix things in our world, and then I tell myself it really just takes harder work from all of us. And with that thought in mind, I've written a short piece called The Second Coming. If I flew a sign for my daily bread, I'd work the morning commute down at that intersection where Airport Boulevard undercuts the interstate. I would hail every driver with a smile and a wave, and my sign for those with eyes to see would tell a truth so profound, so wondrous and deep, that rush hour would rest for miles around, and workaday commuters would abandon their cars to kneel and marvel and place bills at my feet. Rattling boomboxes on spirograph rims would hush their subwoofers and respectfully calm their vibrations. As angry folks in oil-burning beaters stuttered toward my station, downshifting, pumping their brakes, the teeth would grind smooth from those hostile gears, and resentments would fall away, cluttering the off-ramp like debris in eternity's grave. The hate mongers driven by overheated tempers would cease their fist shaking and discordant horn pounding. Their get-a-job dismissals would humble to embarrassed whispers, and then, surprised by their own compassion, they would trek like pilgrims along the littered shoulder to read with their own eyes the sign and to praise the one who bore it. Selfies and hashtags would gather and rise visibly above us, like digitized pigeons trending in unison to spread the viral word, carrying images of the corrugated revelation, my testament in Sharpie on oily-edged cardboard. Long-suffering traffic lights would birth new colors, their rainbows freed from the karmic cycle of green, yellow, and red. And the cops, when they boxed in the intersection intent on my capture, would throw down their tasers and find their hearts arrested instead, stunned by giddy enlightenment. They would drop to their knees, vow through tears to lead us in an escort of silver shields and crossed batons to some safe, warm home, and pledge to us all to protect and to serve forever and ever. Amen. When rush hour subsided, ending my morning's labor, I would thank the joyful multitude, the cops, the commuters, the passengers too awestruck to unbuckle their seatbelts, and I would accept their changes, pocket their 1s, 5s, and 10s. I would nod and smile in benediction
and announce to their innocent faces, "Have a blessed day. I will return tomorrow." That is my promise. And as always, thank you. Thank you. Anything helps. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Amy Allison Thompson. I'm the Executive Director of the Poverello Center. Thank you for being here. We are now entering the time in the memorial where we will read the names of those who were experiencing homelessness and have passed away on our streets in 2019. For myself and the whole Poverello Center family, this is deeply meaningful. We know almost everyone that will be named. They slept at the POV, they sat in our dining room to eat a meal, they talked about their troubles with our staff. Our homeless outreach team brought the supplies to them and tried to help them find housing. They will be greatly missed. Members of the coordinated outreach team, joined by leaders in our community, will now read the names of each of the 24 people who passed away this year. After each name, we ask that you in the audience respond by saying, "We will remember you." Thank you for joining us tonight.
In the wake of the awkwardness associated with reading that proclamation, I'm making the executive decision to remove the microphone from the stand. Eric Carswell. Richard Blomquist.
Josephine May Smiley. Daniel Goldblum.
Randall Armand. Michelle Andrews.
Mike Michelle.
Vern Liberman.
Dale Peterson.
Ray Kushner.
Mike Ucolt.
George Voss.
Ross Nicholson.
Jeremiah Spotted Blanket.
Jana Shields.
Larry Hembry. David James Smith.
Linda Bolin.
Raymond Whiteshield.
Patrick Zeman.
Vess Empson.
Haley Ayers Major.
James McGarity. Eric Capana.
We also honor and pay our respects to any who were lost over the past year who remain unknown or unidentified. We will remember.
Good evening.
My name is Laura Folkwine, and I'm a former staff member at the Poverello Center and one of the pastors at University Congregational Church here in Missoula. I've had the privilege of talking with many of you to learn more about the folks whose names we just read. I've done short memorial services at the Poverello Center for some of them. I heard sweet stories about many of these folks. I also heard stories of tragedy and trauma. Many of the lives we honor tonight were full of both struggle and hope, peace and pain. What strikes me about the group of 24 people whose passing we remember today and whose lives we honor is the wide variety of personalities and experiences they represent. From what I have briefly learned, 8 or 9 of them were veterans, 5 of them were women. I believe 3 were Native, Blackfeet, Salish, and Cheyenne. Some may have identified as LGBTQ, I'm not certain. Often that information's not shared. Some died tragically. Some suffered serious trauma. Some had major mental health issues. Some had family they were in touch with who loved them and cared for them, who they loved and cared for. Some had substance abuse issues. Some had wide circles of friends. Some only shared their lives with a few. Some were loners. Some stayed at the POV, some camped out or couch surfed. No 2 of these individuals were exactly alike, and none fit fully the stereotypes that many of us hold about people who are homeless. They were all unique and precious lives. They gave and they took. Their lives shined brightly, and sometimes their actions cast a shadow. I'm now going to invite you to take some time to remember these folks. And it's kind of amazing that in the Missoula community, most of the people on the list we read are people who were known by someone. It says something about our community and about the ways that we care for each other. I beg your patience as I share a bit about each person on the list that we've just read. And if you knew the person whose name I mentioned, I invite you to raise a hand or raise your candle. And if you know a story about one of the people on this list that's not mentioned, I invite you to share it with somebody tonight. Eric Carswell identified as a Buddhist and worked in the POV kitchen. Richard Bloomquist was a sweet, friendly man with a great sense of humor. He was committed to sitting behind the fire extinguisher at the POV. He had many friends, and he will be dearly missed. Josephine May Smiley was a sweet spirit who always had a smiley, on her face. She fought substance abuse issues, and she died in a car accident on her way to treatment. How unfair. Daniel John Beaver Bulkbloom III was a father. A wake and a funeral were held for him at Old Eagle Shields in Browning. He was buried in the Heart Butte Cemetery with military honors. Randall Arman was also a veteran who was enrolled at Housing Montana Heroes, which is the transitional housing program for veterans at the POV. He had a great sense of humor too, and a sweet personality matched by his sweet tooth. Michelle Andrews was 46 when she died tragically. She had family here in Missoula, and she didn't really like to stay at the POV. The Garden City Funeral Home handled her arrangements. She will be missed. Mike Michelle was married and a longtime Missoula resident. Staff guessed that he probably stayed up the street here at the old POV on Ryman Street, as well as at the new POV. Vern Linderman was a gentleman and a cowboy, a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. The Missoulian published a photo of him titled Cowboy Nap. It's a great picture of Vern laid out on a park bench with a leather bag to rest his head on and his cowboy hat on the corner of the bench. Vern didn't talk a lot, and sometimes he told tall tales. Vern's tall stature and his gentle nature will be missed by many. Dale Peterson was, well, Dale was a Missoula and a POV fixture. He died on the 4th of July right here on the courthouse lawn in his wheelchair. The outreach team had worked tirelessly to get Dale into housing and to get Dale to stay in housing, but Dale was going to do what Dale was going to do. He was dearly loved by many in this town, and he will be greatly missed. Ray Kushner was a loving brother and father of Coco. Ray died in the hospital surrounded by family. Mike Buchholz had just gotten into housing before he became very ill and passed away. He was funny, caring, and beloved by Poverello staff. He had reunited with his family shortly before his death. George Voss was a crockety old you-know-what. He used a wheelchair. He mostly kept to himself. His life meant something to someone. He won't be forgotten. Jeremiah Colin Red Horn Spotted Blanket was 34 when he died under tragic circumstances outside of Missoula. What I am assuming, somebody wave and shout at me if I'm wrong. What I am assuming was his Salish name, Sapoy, meant wind. Jeremiah's family knew he had gone missing, and his mother looked for him for many weeks. His memorial service was held in St. Ignatius in August, and he is buried at the St. Ignatius Catholic Cemetery. His family loved him. Ross Nicholson was a veteran who had lived at the Valor House until he got into his own housing. He had many friends, he loved fishing, and had a great sense of humor. Ross also had a sweet tooth. The story is that when he was up at Fort Harrison, his caseworkers used to bribe him with cake. And it worked. He also looked out for his mom and his sister, and he always told POV staff to be careful, be safe out there as they were leaving, and they knew that he meant it. Jana Shields. No one I talked to knew too much about Jana, but she was here. Thank you. These folks knew Jana. She was someone's child, someone's friend. Her life was not lived in vain. Her life was not lived without causing some good or making some impact in this world. Larry Hembry was a veteran, and at one point he was a resident in Housing Montana Heroes at the POV. He was one of the first clients I worked with at the POV. Larry will be remembered for his sweet nature, his big dreams, his desire to help others, and the letters he wrote. We don't know too much about David James Smith, but he too was someone's child. He was likely someone's friend. His life was not lived in vain. Linda Bolin was Chuck James' sister. Chuck and Linda have another sister in town, I think Joanne. Linda was a sweet woman who always offered a helping hand to others in need. At the POV for meals, she kept a special eye on folks with walkers or wheelchairs, and she helped where she could. She will be missed. Raymond Whiteshield was 62. He died peacefully in his sleep at Community Medical Center. From Raymond's obituary in the Missoulian, Raymond was born on March 30th, 1957 in Clinton, Oklahoma, to Ray Whiteshield and Mary Louise Redshin. As a young boy, his family called him Porcupine, after their great-grandfather, Chief Porcupine of the Cheyenne people and leader among the Cheyenne Dog Soldiers. Raymond was a high school and college athlete, known for his dedicated work ethic. Ray worked at Hallmark Cards and as a commercial trucker for businesses, including Haagen-Dazs ice cream. He was a veteran of the U.S. Navy, where he saw the world and served in Grenada in the 80s. He was the father of 3, 2 daughters and a son. And Raymond loved nature. In recent years, he did some wandering between Independence, Missouri, Denver, and Missoula. Memorial services for Raymond were held in Oklahoma. The family asked that memorial gifts be sent to the Poverello Center, and some of Raymond's loved ones are here.
God bless you.
Patrick Zeman was a veteran. POV Veteran Services staff admired him for his persistence and survival skills. A friend of Patrick's is here too. Now, Patrick was evicted once, or maybe more, and he squatted in that place for 3 months after his eviction was issued. He was known for his persistence. He was a survivor, and he had a goofy sense of humor. Bess Empson was a very sweet man. He had an odd sense of humor, which was funny if you understood it. He had a girlfriend and some other friends too. One of the veteran services staff at the POV told me a story about Bess standing up to someone at least twice his size in the Housing Montana Heroes community room. He was a small man, not too steady on his feet, but when someone made a remark that would be harmful to someone else, Vess stood up and asked the commenter if he needed to take it outside. Hallie Ears Major was 46. Friends of hers are here. She died at home. She was a quiet woman who had her struggles. She stayed at the POV off and she had many friends who will miss her. James McGearty was a 20-year career veteran. His health declined during the end of his life when he stayed at the POV, and he struggled. Folks from the POV said that we did not know him at his best. James loved military mugs, though, and any extra money he had, he spent on purchasing ceramic military mugs, and he wanted folks who had served to have one of those cups. Now the POV has more of those mugs than they know what to do with, so veterans at the POV will have a coffee cup for probably some time to come. Eric Capana just passed away this week. He lived without a home for over 20 years and was a private and humble person. He ate meals at the POV and always helped clean up the dining room. He didn't ever want anyone to feel that he was taking advantage of the help he received. Eric, your giving spirit will be missed. Let us take one more moment to remember those who have passed this year in our community who are unnamed or unknown by those of us gathered here. May we remember all of these lives as a gift. The world is different for their having touched it. May any harm they have done be forgiven. May the good they did be remembered. And may all of them rest in peace from their labors in this world. May they have a peaceful crossing over. Amen.
Amazing grace, how sweet sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. God's grace that brought my
Hi, my name is Stacy Seabrass. I'm a community organizer with the Missoula Interfaith Collaborative, and it is an honor to be here uplifting the lives and the spirits of all those we are honoring tonight, and to be here with all of you. According to the 2019 Point in Time survey, more than 350 individuals are living without access to housing. Using real-time data from the coordinated entry system, nearly 150 children are without a safe roof over their heads on any given night in Missoula. The McKinney-Vento 2019 survey shows that Missoula County Public Schools are educating 201 children without homes, and another 143 are at risk. Of the 350 individuals without housing, about 142 are disabled and 57 are veterans. Some are re-entering the community from incarceration, and roughly 80% of women and children experiencing homelessness are fleeing from domestic violence. Finally, but not the least of these startling statistics is the 1,989 names currently on the Missoula Housing Authority's waiting list for Section 8 vouchers. There are a variety of people and amazing organizations working on issues of homelessness and housing affordability in Missoula. The staff and volunteers of many of these agencies help lead our memorial this evening. The names of their organizations are listed in your bulletins. Before you leave today, I challenge you, I commend you to talk to one of us, to learn how we're working together to care for our community. Learn how you can get involved because the effects of homelessness affect us all. It's going to take everyone from every walk of life to ensure every person has what is definitely a deserving, safe, and healthy place to live for all in our community. And if time isn't a resource for you right now, your money saves lives too. Currently, the YWCA and the Missoula Interfaith Collaborative are building an emergency housing center that will provide shelter for over 30 families every night. You can visit www.seethemhome.org to donate or see me after the service tonight. You can also offer your resource to any of the organizations you see listed in your bulletins. We all need your partnership to continue serving Missoula and each other, to uplift each other, to uplift this community together. So please join me in prayer as we uplift the lives of our saintly kin this evening, those deserving of our homage and humility. Healer of our weary souls, we feel the spirits of those departed encircling us tonight. They shine like lights in the darkness, like the lights that glisten this holiday season. Memories of their lives place on our hearts a desire and a renewed sense of urgency to do right by our neighbor. They inspire within us the need to love and appreciate our community more, to acknowledge the struggle but never let the challenges of community life overshadow what are the rewards of joining our hands together in care and service. Stir us from our complacency. Teach us to build the power needed to overcome structures that fracture us in our faith in each other and in humanity. As we leave here this evening, give us hope and let us trust in our abilities to co-create with you a better and more beautiful world for all. In your many names, we pray. Amen. Before you leave tonight, please remember to return your candles to Carissa. She'll be standing by the bin. Thank you for being here tonight, for being with each other. Before you leave as well, turn to one another, introduce yourselves, get to know each other. Know we're in this together. Let us go in peace.